It's time to go racing from the Roval. Matt Johnston and David Garman on the front row. Mark Dantuma, Greg McDaniel have the second row. Jared Heasley and Harley Barletta have the third row. William Mann Jr., Vern Spring on the fourth row. Jeff Hinkle, William Mann Sr. rounding out the top 10. Mike Smith and Aaron Mason, 11th and 12th. Brandon Springer in 13th, and Topher Baltimore up in race control. All the drivers lined up over on the the front straight chicane. They do have an additional fast repair for tonight. Most races, one. Tonight they have two. I think a few drivers were expecting it to get a bit rough out there tonight. And Gerald Thanos Poole in the chat. Said last night turn 3 got more people than turn 1. That does not surprise me. That hard right-hander does get a little bit interesting. Just waiting on everybody to take to the grid. Then we're going racing. A lot of drivers sitting it out tonight. What is usually a 20-car field tonight, about 13 drivers. Quite possibly the 13 bravest drivers in BRR right now. And it looks like we are getting ready to roll. Matt Johnston, David Garman, the first row, getting side by side. And the Porsche pace car out tonight. Mark Dantuma, the points leader, the only driver in the top 5 without a win, and the winningest driver in the top 5 sitting in the stands tonight. It is such an odd night. I have been there, Thanos. Down through the infield, this probably the trickiest part of the track. And the top of this hill, this next right-hander, that is probably going to be where we see drivers go off more than anything. It's really easy to overshoot that right-hander, go shooting through the grass, and there are a few barriers out there if you go far enough. Drivers head back out into NASCAR 1 and 2, down the back straightaway, into that back straightaway chicane. Garmin and Matt apparently telling the pace car driver to pick the pace up. Looks like those two are ready to go tonight. Down toward the back straight chicane, and then the pace car will drop out coming through 3 and 4. They'll go through the front straightaway chicane. They'll try and go through side by side. Looks like Garmin choosing to skip it. So does Greg McDaniel. They stack back up, ready to go. Wonder if they'll choose to skip it coming to the to the green. Drop in the comments. Let us know who you think's going to win, who you think has the fastest car, or just say hello. Down into the chicane, the Porsche pace car pulls off the track. They go side by side through the final 2 turns. Here we go. Green flag is in the air. Matt Johnston fires. They are away at the Roval. So far, everybody makes it to the green okay. Matt Johnston out front. Garmin in second. Garmin really close to the wall. And a big pile up at turn 2. Vern Spring is involved. Jared Heasley is involved. Looks like Jared just gets in a little too deep. Clips Vern. Vern spins, collects the 57, the 32. And a couple of guys, including Mike Smith, get stacked up back behind. William Mann Jr. makes it through, but I do believe he is missing his front clip again. He did get practice running the track without a front clip. It might actually pay off here. At least getting him back to pit road. Meanwhile, Matt Johnston continues to lead. William Mann Jr., no front clip. But Aaron Mason, the best luck tonight. He is up 5 spots into 7th so far. Vern Spring towed to pit road. And it looks like William Mann Sr. and Brandon Springer might have had an incident. Let's see if it was involved. William Mann Sr. just gets loose at the top of the hill. We talked about that in the pre-race. Almost catches Mike Smith there. Brandon Springer also having an incident. Oh, it looks like Senior just barely clipped him in a part of the track coming out onto the banking where the car is extremely unstable. Corey should have come to show Smith how it's done. That would have been fun. Mike has definitely not been out on track in a while, but he has not forgotten how to get it done here. Although, getting stuck behind in that turn 2 wreck. Oh! Mike gets the wall coming out of turn 4. Matt Johnston has opened up a 1-second lead over David Garmin. Mark Dantuma in 3rd, staying about 2 seconds back at the moment. Greg McDaniel in 4th, half a second behind him. Jared Heasley has gone to pit road and got repaired. Harley Barletta in 5th. William Mann Jr. still no front clip, running in 6th place, and he is still going. Yep, definitely, as soon as I said something. Aaron Mason back in 7th, has picked up the most spots so far tonight. Up 5 spots, started in 12th, made it through the chaos. Jeff Hinkle up to 8th. William Mann Sr. up to 9th despite a spin earlier. And Brandon Springer was up 3 spots, but he is extremely slow coming down toward turn 1. He's looked like he was having some issues earlier on, and oh! Really catches a lot of the turtles there on the inside of the turn. Keep an eye on Brandon for a little bit. Looks like he is really struggling here tonight. Matt Johnston's lead continuing to grow, now 1.3 seconds over Garmin. Mike Smith currently holding on to 11th place. Jared Heasley back in 12th after being to pit road for repairs already. Vern Spring back out in 13th. Don't count Vern out of this one yet, though. Unfortunately, I do not see William Mann Jr. has crashed. Remember, he was running around without a front clip, which cuts out a lot of downforce. And going through the last chicane, loses the back end. Gets the car rolling again, but definitely having a rough start to this one. Meanwhile, Brandon Springer has had another incident. On the throttle, out of the chicane, loses the back end. It's so hard to get these cars back up to speed. That moves Mike Smith now up into 10th. Matt Johnston still leading, but Garmin just turned the fastest lap of the race so far. Jared Heasley has crashed. Just clips the wall there coming through the turn, trying to get as much speed as possible. 360s it, keeps it going. Garmin trying to run down Matt Johnston. They have pulled away from Dan Tuma. Dan Tuma in third, now 6.8 seconds back. Garmin and Matt Johnston are just running away from it, but lap traffic will become their nemesis before long. I don't know, Jason, why is it important? Aaron Mason has crashed. Coming down through the infield, heading towards... No! He takes out all the cones. Matt Johnston, David Garmin. Garmin starting to pick up some momentum. He is caught back up to the back bumper. That was awful. I'm going to tell my kids that joke. Mark Dantuma currently in third. Greg McDaniel back in fourth. William Mann Sr. has crashed. Just about 6 laps into this thing, and oh, wow. All right, let's see if we can find where this mess started at. Brandon Springer goes off in the middle of the track, tries to get the car turned around. Let's see if we can find the crash, the initial crash for William Mann Sr. Oh! Looks like he just gets on the... just missed his braking point completely. Gets into Vern Spring. Looked like he clipped Aaron Mason as well. Aaron's car does have a little bit of damage on the back end now. Matt Johnston, David Garmin about to come into lap traffic. Brandon Springer continuing to struggle here. I don't know what is going on with that car. He just does not seem to have full power behind it tonight. Garmin now 3/4 of a second back. They continue to pull away from Mark Dantuma. Almost 10 seconds on third place. Greg McDaniel still within 2 seconds of Mark Dantuma. Harley Barletta in fifth, 2.5 seconds back. William Mann Jr. continues to run around in 6th without a front clip. You got to give the guy credit. He has not been to pit road. He's several seconds a lap slower right now. But he's still holding on to 6th place. He's got a 3.7 second gap behind him to Jeff Hinkle. He might actually be able to stretch this all the way to pit stops, get his fast repair when he gets tires and fuel. Matt Johnston has closed up, and him and Garmin about to start having to navigate some lap traffic, all of which looks like it's damaged William Mann Sr. right ahead of him. Through NASCAR 3 and 4, William Mann Sr. hops to the high side. Jared Heasley. Oh, Garmin has to get evasive here. Garmin into the grass. Matt Johnston pulls ahead. Expect Garmin will have a slowdown penalty. Meanwhile, Matt Johnston holds the lead and opens up a 3.8, 3.9. Looks like it's going to be a 4-second gap before it's all said and done. Garmin will be driving angry tonight. Mark Dantuma back in 3rd, 8 seconds back. He's actually starting to gain a little ground. Took advantage of the issue. Greg McDaniel coming by Mike Smith. Mike currently in 11th. Just went a lap down. Matt Johnston now has Jared Heasley ahead. Jared was looking for a top 5 finish tonight, but problems early might have ended his chances here. Time will tell. Matt Johnston catches him in the chicane. Where is Heasley going to let him by at? Heasley stays high, lets him go into turn 1. Garmin now into turn 1, 4.5 seconds back, and he continues to lose time. A fourth of the way through the race, though, Garmin's got a long time to make up this gap. Mark Dantuma in 3rd. Greg McDaniel 4th, Harley Barletta 5th, and William Mann Jr. continues to run around without the front clip. And get this, Jeff Hinkle has lost enough time that William Mann Jr.'s gap is now 10 seconds over Jeff Hinkle. Aaron Mason back in 8th. Jared Heasley currently 9th. Jared missing the... Let's see what happened to Hinkle to cause him to lose so much time here. Vern Spring right behind. Hinkle just goes wide coming off the hill. Has to slow way down to not lose the back end of the car. I think we're going to have a Facebook comment section full of jokes before the night's out. Gerald Poole, I was just sitting here wondering about that. I did not hear how many laps they could go on fuel. It would not surprise me to see a few of these drivers make it halfway and one stop this race. If Kellen Mitchner was here tonight, I guarantee you he would do it. Whether or not Matt Johnston or David Garman can do it's another question. But Garman has really come back to life. He has gained over a second in the last few laps. The gap now down to 3 seconds. All right, Jason, I don't know. What did he say? Third place, Mark Dantuma. Greg McDaniel back and forth. Harley Barletta still holding on to fifth. Harley, not a big road racer, but whenever BRR comes to a road course, he seems to get the job done. Harley comes into tonight 10 points behind Mark Dantuma in the championship. But Mark Dantuma running third could extend his points lead here tonight. Yeah, Corey was right. Matt Johnston's lead is shrinking rapidly. Garmin has now closed down to 2.3 seconds in the last lap, 0.7 of a second. If I had to guess, after that little incident in the off-track, Garmin took a lap to let the tires cool just a hair, then built the heat back up and find his grip again. Now Garmin is sending it. Mark Dantuma comes through the final chicane. Greg McDaniel also coming through, as is Harley Barletta. William Mann Sr. continuing to impress. He hasn't given up yet. Jeff Hinkle in seventh, now 15 seconds behind William Mann Jr. Aaron Mason had an incident a moment ago and Jared Heasley snuck by. Aaron comes out of the final chicane, just loses the back end as he comes up on the banking. The leader goes by, Garmy goes by, and there comes Jared Heasley. And Vern Spring has had an issue. Vern not having a good night out here tonight. Vern just completely misses his turn-in point and pulls it off track. Matt Johnston's lead has disappeared. Remember, just a couple laps ago, that lead was 5 seconds. Now David Garman has caught him. But now the tricky part, Garman is there. Can he get around him? And with lap traffic coming into play now as well, things could get even more exciting. Jeff Hinkle just ahead of the leaders. Garman dropped to the bottom of the track early, trying to carry as much momentum and speed as he can and get as much draft as he can. Oh! Matt Johnston missed the chicane. He'll have a slowdown penalty. Can Garman get around? Looks like he used that penalty to his advantage, slowing down a little extra into the last chicane. Mark Dantuma currently in third. Greg McDaniel in fourth. Harley Barletta in fifth. No change. Gourmets is now in the lead. Down into turn one, Matt Johnson gets to the end. Oh, Matt got a little loose. Garmin just shoots to the outside and makes the pass. David Garmin to the lead. Matt Johnston now back in second, already losing time to Garmin, almost over 2 seconds behind. Mark Dantuma in third, Greg McDaniel in fourth, Harley Barletta in fifth. William Mann Jr. continues to roll around with no front clip. His lap times still he is not actually lost, as he has not had as much fall off as the other drivers since losing the nose clip, and apparently has improved tire wear just due to the lack of downforce. Somehow or another, Junior is managing to keep that car going. At the rate he's going, on the long run, he's better off the way he is. Jared Heasley has really cranked it. Mike Smith has crashed. We'll get back to Heasley in a moment. Mike Smith headed toward the back straight chicane. Jumps the turtles. Hits the brakes. Slams into the outside wall, but gets it rolling again. Jared Heasley has picked his pace back up quite a bit. He is actually 4 seconds a lap faster right now than Jeff Hinkle, and 5 seconds back from him. We could see Heasley fight his way back into the top 5 before the night is over. William Mann Jr. has crashed. No front nose clip for... Oh! Brandon Springer up on the outside. Looks like he had bounced off the outside wall. Comes down and collects Junior. William Mann Jr. still going. More damage to the car. I would expect to see a lot of these drivers, if not the whole field, in about 4 laps as William Mann Jr. goes a lap down. Meanwhile, David Garmin up front continues putting on a clinic here. Eight laps ago, Garmin got turned around, was 5 seconds behind, and now in the lead with a 3.4 second gap to second place, Matt Johnston. Brandon Springer has gone to pit road for repairs. Looks like he is back out, though. Brandon definitely having a rough night. He may need to go back to the peanut butter grip system. Garmin continuing to hold a big lead over Matt Johnston. Mark Dantuma in third. Jared Heasley is around again. Expect to see drivers in just a couple of laps for one stop. It looks like everybody's going to one stop it. Heasley just a little too much throttle into that turn as you go up the hill. That corner is actually banked outward, so it definitely does not help the car stability. Garmin's going to come down 2 laps from the halfway point. And Brandon Springer has had another issue. Coming down through the infield, trying to come up the hill. Just overshoots through the grass. But gets it back out on track. No harm, no foul on this one. Garmin has now lapped all but the top 5. But Matt Johnston has started closing back in. Matt Johnston has chipped away 1.5 seconds, now down to 1.9 seconds as he closes back in on Garmin. Jeff Hinkle just passed William Mann Jr. Looks like the extra damage has slowed Jr. down just a little bit, allowing Hinkle to get by for 6th. Garmin's lead back to 3 seconds. Don't know what happened. Matt Johnston did not have any issue. Jared Heasley has had another issue. Down toward the back straight chicane. Oh, he just completely misses it. That he did not compensate for the lack of a front clip. And we might start seeing pit stops this time by. I would expect to see the entire field in within the next 2 to 3 laps. Garmin coming through NASCAR 3 of 4. We'll see if he ducks in this time, or does he stretch it a little bit further? Garmin usually likes to stretch it as far as possible. I bet he goes to the limit on the fuel. Halfway there, and Garmin has a 4.7 second lead right now. Matt Johnston still holding on to second place. Mark Dantuma in third, and look at William Mann Jr. jumping it across the turtle. Surprised he did not come in last time. That car is definitely tore up. Jared Heasley is in. Greg McDaniel is in. So green flag stops have begun. Only 2 drivers have hit pit road so far. Greg McDaniel on his way out. Jared Heasley now on his way out. When do we see the leaders come in? Not this time for David Garmin. But if Matt Johnston ducks down before he does, he'll have to come the next time by. Mark Dantuma in third. Harley Barletta back in fourth. Greg McDaniel in fifth. Got to give it to Harley Barletta. Not a road course guy, but has stayed in the top 5 and on the lead lap so far all night. Garmin's got a little bit of breathing room right now. His lead 5.7 seconds and a decent gap ahead to the next lap. To the next lap car, which will be William Mann Sr. And William Mann Sr. just pulls over and lets Garmy go. Mark Dantuma, Harley Barletta are on pit road now. A little wiggle out of Garmin. Was he running? Is he running out of fuel? Nope, he is still going. Brandon Springer has towed to pit road. William Mann Sr. may have crashed. Let's take a look. Comes out of... Oh, he bounces off the wall twice down to the infield. And I think that's how Garmin got by him so easily. He gets it going, but that is a rough night. There goes Garmin by. Several drivers having a rough night tonight, but you got to give them credit for showing up, showing out, and seeing what they have. Plus, with so many cars out of the field tonight, they were definitely going to make up some points regardless of where they finish. David Garmin, Matt Johnston, the only 2 drivers on the lead lap that have not been to pit road. And Harley Barletta has less than half a lap behind him. Garmin is gaining on him. Garmin stays out again. His lead now 7.1 seconds over Matt Johnston. Jeff Hinkle and William Mann Jr. have not been to pit road yet. I am really surprised Jr. has not been. Those 2 are still battling for position, 6 seconds apart. I think Hinkle may be in trouble once William Mann Jr. gets that car fixed. And he stays out another lap. And I don't know how he does it, but right now William Mann Jr. is running laps faster than several of the cars ahead of him. His lap time last time by was equal to that of Matt Johnston's last lap. Junior did say he liked... Oh, Harley Barletta has crashed. Coming down... Oh, he just misses his braking point for the chicane. Comes to a stop. He's trying to give back the time as quickly as possible. He gets rolling again, but loses a lot of time there. And now you see Garmin is very close on track. He's at the start-finish line. Harley's between 1 and 2. Matt Johnston is on pit road from second place. Expect Garmin in this time. Matt Johnston hoping one lap, or getting out there, getting fresh tires, can make up some ground on Gourmet. Gourmet was obviously faster on the long run, but those early laps, Matt Johnston was pulling away. Jeff Hinkle and William Mann Jr. finally come to pit road, and for the first time since lap 1, William Mann Jr. has a new car. As fast as he's been with a beat-up car, I can't wait to see just how fast he is with a brand new car. Gourmet coming through NASCAR 3 and 4. Down to pit road, the leader is in. Matt Johnston in second place, coming through NASCAR 1 and 2. Gourmet has plenty of time. Gourmet has hit his pit box as Matt Johnston comes out of the back straight chicane through NASCAR 3 and 4. Pit road exits right at turn 2. This could get interesting. Gourmet is on the way out. He is coming out and around, and he will maintain the lead. Matt Johnston just now coming through turn 2. Gourmet's lead 6.5 seconds at the moment. Mark D'Antuma in third, Greg McDaniel in fourth, Harley Barletta holding on to fifth. William Mann Jr. lost a little bit of time on pit road. Jared Heasley now 3.9 seconds ahead. But you got to wonder, what can William Mann Jr. do with a fresh race car? He was running equal times to Matt Johnston with no front clip. Junior definitely has something figured out about this track. Gourmet comes around 14 laps to go. Still has a 6.5 second lead over Matt Johnston. Mark D'Antuma in third, 14 seconds back. Greg McDaniel another 6, almost 7 seconds back from him. Harley Barletta 20 seconds back from Greg. Jeff Hinkle now has Jared Heasley closing in, and William Mann Jr. not making up any time right now. Maybe he needs to knock the front clip off to be fast. He definitely is trying the way he's coming through the final chicane there. And Jared Heasley has run down and caught Jeff Hinkle. Jared really pushing the limits of what that car can do. Just getting word, Brandon Springer and Vern Spring have both officially retired. 11 cars left out on the track. And Gourmet has lapped everybody but the top 5. You know what? We haven't talked to race control yet tonight. Hey, Topher, it's Doug. You got me?
Hey, Doug. How's it going?
Hey, man. I have to ask, race controlling a road course, easier or harder than an oval?
News fest.
Not a lot going on for race control to yell at somebody. Do you want me to interrupt one of the drivers to give you something to yell at them about?
No, that's hard. That's everybody's doing just fine all by themselves.
It has been an interesting night for a few of the drivers, but I have to ask, what are your thoughts on William Mann Jr. after that lap one incident? He had no front clip and yet was running laps equal to Matt Johnston for quite some time.
I think he needs to put it back in the wall.
He does seem to be a hair slower now that he's got a full body on that car.
Yeah, now that his car is complete, he seems to be a tick slower. So yeah, I think he needs Jared to help him put it back in the wall.
Okay, so here's a good one for you. Well, it may be a moot point at this point. Garmin just broke the 123 second barrier. He just ran the first 122 of the night. Can anybody catch him?
If the Manslayer loses that front clip, I think there's a chance. But otherwise, nah, it's David's. It's Gourmets.
I think you're right. We've seen Garmy be this dominant before, and yeah, I don't think there's much chance of anybody catching him.
Yeah, with only 5 cars on the lead lap. Yeah, I think it's definitely David's to lose, and he's really strong. So he's doing good.
Just saw William Mann Jr. has crashed. Let's take a quick look and see. Did he lose his front clip on this one? Or he was coming toward the back straightaway chicane. Overcooks it in, spins it. Nope, he didn't lose a front clip.
Nope, still has his front clip, so he's still going to be a little slower.
It's tough how that works.
Well, I could get out on track and I could help him out. He might get mad.
Probably so, but it'd be hilarious.
Indeed.
Well, enjoy the rest of the show. Obviously, about 11 more laps once Garmy comes around.
That's right. Well, go Garmy.
All right, go Garmy. Talk to you later, buddy.
Thanks, Doug. Take care.
Topher Baltimore in race control. Garmin comes around, 11 laps to go. His lead now 8.5 seconds. He's the only driver to break the 123 mark so far tonight. His fastest lap, a 122.92. To give you an idea, Matt Johnston has the next fastest lap, and he's 0.4 of a second slower with a 123.34. Garmin has just gone to another dimension here. William Mann Jr. still has the front clip, watching the lap times, obviously with his incident last time by. A lot slower. We'll see how he does on this lap. I'm very curious to see if he beats his non-clip laps. He is definitely sending it for all it's worth here. A little bit faster than his last lap, but not faster than when he was running without a clip. Jared Heasley has caught Jeff Hinkle, but did not get past him last time. He is gaining on Hinkle again here. Will he be able to get around him this time? William Mann Jr. has had another incident. And it is down on the back straight chicane with 5th place Harley Barletta right behind him. Almost identical to last time. And then down into turn 2. Just overcooks it into there as well. Manages to get the car turned around and get going again. But a rough night. Once his body was back in one piece, he has struggled here. Meanwhile, the return of Mike Smith, he is now in 10th place. Great to see Mike back out on track. David Garman continues to lead. 9 laps to go. The lead now 9.25 seconds. Over Matt Johnston in second. It looked like early in the race, Matt might actually be able to run away from Garman. Once Garman pulled around him, though, it has been all Garman all the time. Mark Dantuma almost 30 seconds behind the top 2. But as they run, he is definitely going to extend his points lead over AJ Godsey and Harley Barletta. William Mann Jr. has crashed again. Down into turn 2 again. Goes completely around. Still does not hit the wall. Front clip still intact. I'm beginning to suspect Junior is actually trying to hurt that front clip. Greg McDaniel has been quietly sitting in 4th all night, qualified 4th. Nobody has gotten past him. He's just been cruising. It'll be a great points night for Greg. He comes into the night 4th in points. With Harley Barletta 3rd in points, but right behind him, he'll close that gap just a little bit. I would imagine we'll have a little bit of a points shake-up before the night is out. William Mann Jr. has retired. And he disappeared before we could get a word with him. Matt Johnston continues to hold on to second, continues to pull away from Mark Dantuma in 3rd, Greg McDaniel in 4th. Jared Heasley has finally gotten by Jeff Hinkle. He is too far behind Harley Barletta to make any difference unless Harley or one of the top 5 has an incident. And Garmin just continues to click away laps and extend his lead now 11.2 seconds. I think he got the wall there. Let's see if we can see the right side of the car as he goes by. If he's scraping it, it's just barely, and it ain't showing. Yeah, that right side, that right rear fender is pushed in just a little bit. And huge shout out to our sponsor tonight, and also a guy who obviously can run around the track without a front clip, the Man's Maintenance Truck Repair. Huge shout out to them for sponsoring tonight's race. William Mann Jr., William Mann Sr. owners. There is Sr. William Mann Jr. out of the race. Garmin has the fastest lap of the night and consistently the fastest. Mark Dantuma has had a very consistent night in third. Greg McDaniel in fourth. Very consistent and very, very quiet. Harley Barletta, fairly consistent, only one incident all night. Garmin comes around and gets 5 to go. From the spotter stand, boy, you got to feel bad for the spotters tonight having to use the binoculars and try and navigate with the lap traffic. And it does look like Garmin is going to catch some lap traffic in the form of Mike Smith here in a moment. Mike Smith still holding on to 10th place. 6.5 seconds behind William Mann Sr. Aaron Mason has also had a quiet night. He started in 12th, managed to avoid the lap 1 chaos, only involved in one other incident. He is up to 8th place. And actually, he came into tonight in 12th in points, 2 points behind William Mann Jr., so he'll pick up 11th. Eric Stoy not being here, Richie West not being here. He'll pick up 10th, possibly 9th place after tonight's race. Somehow that does not surprise me, Gerald. And why, Kevin? Why could you not make the race after getting your internet fixed, buddy? You could have given Garmy a run for his money out here tonight, Kevin. Harley Barletta has maintained the lead lap in 5th place. Trying to hold on for just a few more laps. Garmin's lead now 13.6 seconds and continuing to grow. Oh, Matt Johnston missed entry into the back straight chicane. He'll have a small slowdown penalty. Mark Dantuma currently 3rd. Greg McDaniel in 4th. Harley Barletta is 5th. Garmin going through 1 and 2, and NASCAR 1 and 2 rather. Back in lap traffic, that has been the only concern for Garmin all night. William Mann Sr. locks up the brakes a little bit. Garmin shoots underneath, making sure to not cut it too low. Garmin gets past and should not catch any more lap traffic. If he does, the next car in front of him is the 5th place car of Harley Barletta. But the gap to Barletta, roughly 10 seconds, and don't know if he can make that up in 2 laps. Jeff Hinkle, another driver who's had a really quiet night after that first incident. Started in 9th, currently running 7th. Hinkle 6th in points. Kyle Holden not being here tonight should give Hinkle a little bit of room. Might move Hinkle up into 5th. David Gorman through the back straight chicane, headed toward the start-finish line. Barney the flagman standing there with the white flag in his hand, waiting for a Ford to come across. And here comes Gorman across. He gets the white flag one more time around. His lead 14 seconds now over Matt Johnston in 2nd. Mark Dantuma currently in 3rd. Greg McDaniel in 4th. And Harley Barletta in 5th. Jared Heasley back in 6th. Jeff Hinkle in 7th. Aaron Mason, biggest mover of the night, in 8th. William Mann Sr. in 9th. Mike Smith in 10th. Barring anything catastrophic, that's actually going to be the finishing order. David Gorman down the back straightaway one more time through the back straight chicane. And Gorman just dominated the Charlotte Roval, comes through the final chicane. David Gorman wins at the Roval. Matt Johnston comes through NASCAR 3 and 4. He'll come home in 2nd place. Mark Dantuma in 3rd place, just now coming through NASCAR 1 and 2. That gives you an idea of how far ahead Gorman really was. We're going to have to do post-race interviews out of order tonight. Dan Tumek comes down through the back straight chicane. Down through the final chicane, and Mark Dantuma comes home 3rd. Greg McDaniel will finish 4th. Harley Barletta will finish 5th. Let's see if we can talk to our top 3, starting with 3rd place, Mark Dantuma. Hey, Mark, it's Doug. You got me?
I got you, Doug.
Last week you were 2nd in a Chevy. Did you learn an important lesson here tonight?
Yes, I don't belong on road courses.
I would not say that. Your lap times were actually not bad at all. You were consistent and held 3rd all night.
Yeah, but I was so far off the pace of the leaders, that's kind of disappointing. I do want to take a moment while we're here to just say thank you. Freedom is not free, so we need to remember this weekend all the people that made the sacrifice to give us that freedom.
Definitely true. Thank you so much for bringing that up, and congratulations. I do believe you'll extend your points lead even further after tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of hollow feeling, though, but I appreciate it, Doug.
Yeah, I imagine it would be with a blue oval on the hood. Great run tonight, buddy. Congrats.
All right, thanks, Doug. You take care.
Let's see if we can get 2nd place, Matt Johnston. Hey, Matt, it's Doug. You got me?
I got you, Doug.
Man, you gave it a good try, and it looked like early on you were going to check out from him.
Yeah, I was hoping things would go my way. Just as the tires ran, the tires wore on that first stint run, and lost my rears, and Dave was able to get me.
he put the pressure on. I made a few mistakes, and then it was his race. So congrats to Dave. He ran an amazing race. And yeah, I'm really happy with the result. Last time we had a clean race like this, he beat me by 40 seconds. So tonight's a big improvement.
It definitely is, man. That was a great battle you guys had the first half of the race, and you put on one heck of a show up front.
That was a lot of fun. Hoping to do this again soon on our road course. It's a good way to put these cars to the test.
Great job tonight, man.
Definitely. Thank you, Doug. If anyone's looking to improve their road skills, come check out the Roval Touring League Thursday nights, 9 p.m., 8:15 practice. It's a good place to work in the TCR cars, front-wheel drive racing. Just get your feet wet, learn how to race these road courses.
All right, man. Thank you, buddy.
Of course. We'll catch you later.
And let's see if we can get a hold of our winner. Garmin, I feel like I talk to you more than anybody else every week.
Well, I mean, you do a lot of the broadcasts where I hang out, so.
And you win a lot of races, but I've seen you win on road courses, but I think this might have been one of your more dominant wins.
Yeah, here recently it has been. I know last season, I forget where we were at, but it wasn't like that first one we had a couple years ago where I was 40 seconds or so ahead. So, no, this felt nice. Matt Johnson, props to him. He ran a pretty good race, just minus that mistake he made going into the bus stop on the back stretch. But I'm pretty sure it'd have been a lot closer if he had not done that. But nah, pretty happy with the win. It's been a couple weeks since I've been around here, so it's nice to race with these guys again. And, you know, coming out with the win here feels good.
Well, man, congratulations. It was is definitely a very dominant win and a great race. By the way, you were the only driver to break 123 tonight. You had
going to 122, yeah.
Yeah, you had the fastest lap of the night with a 122.92, and in fact, the next fastest lap was 0.4 of a second slower.
Yeah, like I said, Matt Johnson was pretty quick tonight. It was going to be a battle if he hadn't made that mistake, so I'd been curious to see how this was going to play out and go on from there. So,
well, great run. Congratulations on another win, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, Doug.
David Garmin gets another road course win. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you had as much fun as we did. Don't forget to come back tomorrow night for Jones BS Racing League, the Legends, and the Touring Mods. Always a good time. Thank you guys so much and have a wonderful night.